Alrighty, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for Literation Lounge. My name is Monica Groves from the Adult Literacy XPRIZE, and today we are on our 8th installment of Literation Lounge. And Literation Lounge is a monthly speaker series supported by the Barbara Bush Foundation Adult Literacy XPRIZE. The Literation Lounge will feature experts, as you can see, in EdTech, adult literacy, adult education, and entrepreneurs who are really going to break ground on new ways to be able to solve the world's literacy problem. And so the audience is usually those within the aforementioned industries or general public who are wanting to just know more about what we're doing and also about adult ed and how to really build apps and blend them into current learning models for adults who are looking to increase their literacy. So today, our Literation Lounge will be how to create a literacy app from idea to product. So, have you ever wondered about how an app actually gets created and built? Today we'll have Dana Rozier of our finalist team, AutoCognita. And this presentation is geared towards non-technical audiences. So if you have a phone and use it, then you have all the background you need to enjoy this presentation. Dana is head of content development at AutoCognita. Her skills include teaching, writing, developing curriculum, and now, after nearly 3 years of developing literacy apps for the Global Learning XPRIZE and Adult Literacy XPRIZE, she can add the skill of app development. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Dana Rozier of AutoCognita.
Thanks, Monica. Hi, everybody, and I'm super excited to be here. And I wanted to give the presentation how to build an app because my background isn't computer science or techno nerd speak. It's just I'm a teacher and a writer. So, hey, if I could learn how to build an app, you guys could too. And it's super exciting of how apps are built. And let me click on screen share. Hold on for a sec, you guys. And my screen share is grayed out. So, Miss Monica, I might need your assistance here.
No problem. Just make sure that your webcam is open. And at the bottom, you hit screen share. It allows you to select which screen you would like to share. So if you have multiple documents up, if you have a PowerPoint up, you can select that and then click share.
And I don't have screen
share. Even if it's like a Word document, you should be able to see all of the documents you currently have open on your laptop.
Yeah, I have a little Zoom account, a Zoom. Anyways, on my Zoom, it doesn't say I can share my screen. Oh, there it is. Never mind.
Even at the very bottom, next to like invite manage participants. Okay.
So, okay.
There you go.
Awesome.
We can see you now.
Good. Let me move myself over here. Okay. So while I'm going to talk about how we created our literacy app, really it's the same steps in how you can create any app. So before you get started creating a literacy app or any app, you have to answer these big questions. Who's your audience? How do you think people learn? And what curricula are you going to teach in your app? So AutoCognita consists of me, Dana Rozier. So my background's teaching and writing. And Frank Ho, who acts as the CEO and design and technical lead. So the two of us got our heads together and we decided we needed to decide these big picture questions. Who did we want to build our app for? Were they native English speakers? Were they English language learners? What level of literacy did they have? And we had to make all these decisions before we even built our app. And what did we believe for educational philosophy? How do people learn best? Do they learn by watching videos and answering questions? Do they learn by having to write essays? Like how do people learn? So you have to think about that. And lastly, what curricula are you going to teach in your app? So one of the things we could have chosen to do was just follow the CASAS curriculum for adult learners. Or we could have chosen to teach our learners life skills. How do you open a bank account? How do you read a medicine label? But we decided for our app that we wanted to focus on just the foundations of reading. So Frank and I, talked about all these things, and then, okay, we figure we've got that down pat. And so when we are imagining our audience, we imagine a single mom, could be a dad, but we're imagining a single mom, 3 kids, works 2 jobs to work. So the parent is super busy and would love to learn how to read to get a better job and to help her kids with homework. But she's busy and doesn't have time to attend literacy classes. Plus, she's slightly embarrassed. She doesn't read very well. Maybe she only reads at the 1st grade level. Has never seen an app before, doesn't really know about apps. So we imagined our user's coworker telling her about the app, Monica, probably through the communities competition. And her friend helps her install the app, but our user is super nervous because she's never used an app before and just doesn't have the confidence to do it. So as we're building our app, we're imagining Mary. And so Frank and I both believe that people learn best when they're actively engaged in their learning. So as we built our app, we wanted people to do something on every screen, whether it's watch something, input something, speak into the app, listen to something. So that's how we figured people learn best. And then we wanted to look at what research says. How do adults learn best? And really, these are the 3 pieces of information that help guide us the most. And this is put up by the National Institute for Literacy, applying research in reading instruction for adults. Good old Digital Promise, applying adult learning theory. And Monica, this was a really helpful piece for you guys to know too. So through the Barbara Bush and XPRIZE, they developed a write-up on how do you design mobile apps for adult learners. So we knew who our audience was. We knew how people, we knew how people like to learn. We used these 3 pieces of information to help guide us. And then since we wanted to teach the basic foundations of literacy at a high level, this is how we chunked up our curriculum into alphabet, phonics, vocabulary, fluency, and comprehension. And this publication recommended these items. So then we have a high-level overview of our curriculum. And then we had to break our curricula down and build out everything. So I don't know if anybody on here has been a curriculum developer before, but if you haven't, you can imagine how many months it took to write the whole curriculum from alphabet to reading comprehension. And I used Word docs to write the curriculum, and sometimes I used Excel spreadsheets. And this is just in phonics, for instance. So we researched how many phonics sounds are there in the English language, and there's no one set rule. So there's approximately 44 to 46. So just in the phonic sounds, how are you going to teach those phonic sounds? And in what order are you going to teach those phonic sounds? So those are all the decisions we had to make as we built out our curriculum. So we have the user, how people are going to learn, the curricula we're going to teach. We have it all built out. Okay, so now what? And so now it actually starts with app implementation. So imagine if you were going to build an app, like what would you teach, and what curriculum would you teach? So once you have it all laid out, then, and you don't have to get too excited about this screen because it's too many words, and they're big words that most people are unfamiliar with. So here's how you actually build out an app. And I'll go through each one of these step by step. So you have to do the navigation flow, and here's what that means. So we have all this curriculum, and I'll walk you through this screen. So in our mind's eye, we had a picture. Let's say there's a new user. And this is just all this thought process we have to go through. Okay, a new user downloads our app for the very first time. What do we want them to see? So that's our welcome screen. Okay, so they're looking at the welcome screen. Then they have to sign up so we can keep track of the app. And these are low literate users. So we had to figure out a way for them to sign up that would be super easy. So then they sign up for our app. Okay, they're signed in. I don't know, they've never seen our app before. So the next thing they need to do is see instructions. So we'll give instructions how to use our app. And then we also had to make the decision right here. These are all the decisions you have to make when you're building an app. Okay, this is a new user. Do we want to give them a placement test so they know where in our app they should go? We thought, yeah, sure, we do want them to take a placement test. So after they listen to instructions, they'll take a placement test. And then they need to know the results. Where did I place? And so once they know where they're placed, you can follow this little line, then they're taken to our menu. And I'll show you a picture of the menu we created in a few slides down from here. So the menu lists out all our curriculum, and the user will be placed in a certain section of our curriculum. And everything they've tested out, everything they tested out of will have a little green check mark by it, and the things they need to learn will be, unlocked. So then they decide to tap on a unit, and let's say it's Phonics 1. So they tap on Phonics 1, and then we had to make the decision. Do we want a user to be able to test out of Phonics 1, or are we going to force them to take the whole lesson? So we decided, sure, let's have them test out. So they get into unit, and then they decide to test out. They don't have to test out, but if they decide to test out, then they take all the tests. They take the test we prepared for them. They get the results. And if they passed, then they go back to the menu so they can choose another unit. Or if they did not pass, then they're taken back to the lesson to do the lesson. They've completed the lesson. So they get a little message they've completed. And then we want to give our app away for free. I don't really want to talk about ads too much, but our business model is we want to give the app away for free and then have ads at the end. I know, anyways, it's a way to make model it's a business model if you're giving your app away for free. That's another decision we had to make. So this is how our user is going to flow through our app. And from the menu screen, they'll also be able to access their progress. Where am I in this app? What have I learned? What have I done so far? So they'll be able to see that. Okay, so now we know how users are going to flow through our app. The next thing we need to do is design activity screens. And another name for activity screens really is teaching screens. So let's say we're back in Phonics 1 and we want to teach the ch sound. How are we going to do that? So Frank and I needed to think of all the ways we could teach people anything in our literacy app. And we needed the screens to be fairly consistent. So a user goes screen to screen and she knows what to do on each screen. So we just mocked these up. And they're not too attractive because they're just mock-ups. So these are our main teaching screens. There's 6 of them. And then I'm just going to match. So we're going to have a lot of matching exercises. In this one, they're matching syllables to make complete words, or they could match a picture of something to the audio word of it. They could match 2 words to make a compound word. So the match screen is really flexible, as are all our other screens. So we've built the curriculum. We're mocking up all these screens, thinking through how are people going to actually learn this material? And then we use the research we've read to help us realize how people learn best. So these are the screens. And then UX is just another name for user experience. So, so check out our mock-ups, not very attractive. So then after you have all the mock-ups, you hire someone who is a better developer than you are. So we hired a company to design our app for us and actually to build it out. And I just wanted to show you, out of all the curriculum we built, this is what the menu is going to look like. So we divided all of our curriculum into levels. So this is level 1. And within level 1, these are the units we're going to teach. So this person has passed alphabet. This person is in Phonics 1, and they've completed 3 of the 5 units. And they're not allowed to go on to Phonics 2 or 3 yet, so they're locked. So all these decisions we had to make, even on here, should we let anybody choose any of these? Decisions, decisions, decisions. So anyways, that's what our menu turned out to be. And then right here is level 2. You just swipe the app from left to right. And then the designer This is like a multiple choice screen. And on the next screen, I'll show you all the iterations we had to go to get to this screen. So even if you hire a professional designer, you have to remember the professional designer is not a teacher, especially with low literate adults. It's a whole different ball of wax. So the designer, this is the first screen he gave us. And, it takes a while to even look at it. And we said, users don't need to know that this is a choose or multiple choice screen. They do need to know that they're in phonics 1. And this is too many words and it's too little. And this is like help, I need help. So we had to give the designer feedback, and then this is what he changed it into. And this is how the designer chose to show a person they got the word mat correctly. The instructions say, tap all words that rhyme with cat. And actually sat rhymes too, but he didn't catch that. So we said, nah, here's what we need to do. Here's what we want. We want the user to know if she got the right answer. And we need to let the user know if she didn't get the right answer, what the correct answer is. So after iteration of this screen, this is what we came up with. So the user chose mat and cap. They got cap wrong, so that's in red. And sat is the other correct answer, mat and sat. And so another decision we had to make is the user is going to be able to look at the correct answers, the incorrect answers, and then we're just going to have the user move on to the next screen. At the end of this lesson, the user will be able to either do this screen over again or something similar that's going to teach the same skills. Okay. So now we've done user experience. And the next up is user engagement. So as we designed our app, we wanted our users to feel good about themselves, that they were learning things, and we wanted to give them a visual way to know what they've learned, and also lots of kudos, because if you're a low literate adult, school probably didn't go so well for you. So as they complete units, they get the unit badge, well, the unit icon, I'll say. And if they complete a level, then they get a certificate. And then here's another decision we had to make. Do we want to give out badges? And if we did want to give out badges, how do you earn a badge? So we decided if you use our app 3 days in a row, you get a badge. And this is the progress screen, and it's going to show people all the badges, units they've completed, and levels they've completed, and the days they've worked on the app. All right, now here, so next up is the data structure, and this is the part I'll just tell you as a curriculum developer. Okay, data structure. Here's what this means. Right now, this is just a picture. All right, it's not an app. It's just a picture. The app hasn't been built yet, and I have all the curriculum sitting on my desktop, either in a Word doc or sometimes I do it in Excel. So, as we are developing our screens, this in the middle of the screen is always going to be the content. The content's going to change screen to screen to screen, but we had to make it consistent. So when the user swiped or went on to the next screen, the instructions are always going to be here. In the middle part, we call it the question. It's something they're going to have to answer. And the answer choices are always going to be here. So screen to screen, this is how our app has been developed. Okay, that's nice. This is just a picture. So how does this information actually get into the app? And it's called building like a database of information. This is visually confusing, so I'll walk you through it. So, and this is a modified spreadsheet we've developed. Really, the whole spreadsheet's way longer. But apps are dumb. They don't know anything. So you have to tell them exactly what should be put on the screen. So, we call this our multiple choice or choose screen. So the app has to know it's the choose screen. So they'll know what structure to give it. What are the instructions that are going to show up at the top of the screen? So this is Dana actually typing in all these words into the spreadsheet. It is not my favorite thing to do, but it needs to get done. question 1 and question 2. So there's a picture of a cat and also the word cat. We could also just have an audio icon right here. So the question could be an audio icon. The user could listen to somebody say fish, and then they would have to choose the word fish. So the app has to know all these things. Question 1, what type is it? Is it text that's going to go here? Is it image that's going to go here? Is it audio that's going to go here? So this is an image. So we have to put image in question 1 type. Format, it doesn't matter for this because it's an image, so I could just write image. And then the question 1 type is, what exactly should show up here? What words or pictures? And so we need a picture of a cat. So we have a picture of a cat in our database, and it's called cat.ping. Next, here's question 2. And the type of the question, it's not audio, it's not a picture, it's text. So I wrote in text. And what the format, is it a word? Is it a phonic sound? Is it an alphabet letter? Well, this happens to be a word, so I wrote word. And then you actually have to write the word cat. That's what it is, cat. So I wrote the word. Then in the answers, it's text and words. Here are all the answer choices people are going to get to choose, and here are the right answers. So there's more information I have to type into the spreadsheet, and this is just part of it. So this is one activity screen. We have maybe 1,600 activity screens. So I'm typing in a lot of information, and this is my least favorite part of it, but it needs to get done. So that's how you build a data structure. It's just spreadsheets, and you put all the information, all the curriculum goes into a spreadsheet. And then the last part is the core development of the app. So think about what the computer needs to know. So this is all the pedagogy I just created. Graphic assets. So maybe we have 750 images that we want to show in our app. So each one has to be labeled, like that was cat.png. And then all those images have to be in a folder somewhere so the computer can access them. Audio assets. We can't have computers say a lot of things, like computers can't make phonic sounds very well. So I have to record my voice saying phonic sounds, label those. Is it the ch sound? Is it the s sound? And upload those to the cloud is where we put it. So once we have like the big spreadsheets, graphic assets, audio assets, then we turn it over to developers who have to write code that will pull the right information from our database into our app. And this part for me is magic over here because, you know, I do not write code, but I understand what I need to do to give it to the developers to write the code to make an app. And then you also have to need analytics in your app. So as your users use your app, you can say, this didn't work so well. This works well. And then you can go back and change the content if you need to. So Frank and I have app 1 developed, and that's what got us into to be a finalist in the XPRIZE. And based on a lot of feedback we've gotten from that app, we're building app number 2. And we know it's going to be better than app number 1. So that's us. Click, learn, grow. Stay tuned for our next version, which should be out, fingers crossed, maybe December, maybe earlier. And that's how apps get built.
Thank you so much, Dana. We really appreciate it. At this point, we are in Q&A. So if anyone on has any questions, you can type them in the chat box, and I'll fill them to help Dana be able to give an answer. We already do have one question for you, Dana.
Sure.
The question is, will your PowerPoint be available after today's session?
Yes, Monica, what's the best way to do that?
What I can do is when I send out an email saying, hey, everybody, videos are up on YouTube, I can also include a link to your PowerPoint if you give it to me. What I can do is put it in Google Docs. Just share that link so it'll be there.
All right, so I'll send it to you after the presentation.
Okay. Alrighty, so guys, when I send out an email after today's session with the links to the October Literation Lounge videos, I'll be sure to include a link so that you can access the AutoCognita PowerPoint presentation.
It's kind of a lot to go through at once.
So if you do have any other questions, please feel free to type them into the chat box. We'll give people time to get their fingers moving. Alrighty, we do have a question. Ms. from Alicia, she said she may have missed this. What platform did you use to develop the app?
So I'm not sure what you mean by that. The developers are going to use like Java and CSS. Is that what you mean for a platform? Or it's going to be available on Google Play only right now because it costs money to develop an app. And if we do an Apple version, it's just going to cost us more money. So we're concentrating on Android right now.
Okay. Next question is, can you tell them more about time and cost of development?
Yeah, so time is as much time as you want to devote to it, and cost is to let you know, I mean, this is for real. It cost $100,000 to develop this app. So that's why we haven't done the Apple version quite yet.
All righty.
And that's why this is curious. This is just me and Frank working for free, right? $100 is just what we're paying the development company to develop the app. So yeah, apps are expensive to develop.
Thank you. Another question. This was from Arthur. Were you just lucky to be ready when the XPRIZE came along, or?
No, this is actually a really good story. I didn't know Frank before the XPRIZE, and so this is so interesting. On our own, we both read Peter Diamandis's Bold about how you can make a dent in the universe, and we both wanted to make a dent in the universe. And so we met on the XPRIZE portal because he wanted to do literacy and I wanted to do literacy, and so we Skyped and we hit it off, and we've been working together for 3 years. It's been wonderful.
Great, thank you. More questions. It's a very robust question line here. The next question is, how successful did you find your approach to be? Did learners stick with the app?
I would say our first app, it was buggy because we built it in a different platform. Oh my gosh, things you know, right? You develop one app. And so obviously it's good enough to be a finalist in the XPRIZE, but we know it could be so much better. So we can't wait for version 2. It's just a more seamless user interface, and it's easier to get through. It's easier to see your progress. So yeah, they did stick with app 1, and so I think app 2 will be even stickier.
Next question. It's about funding. Where did the money come from, or how did you fund the work you needed to do to develop your app?
So Frank and I have been working for free for 3 years. And then because we were a finalist in the XPRIZE, I mean, thank you, Monica, it's true, we won $100,000. And I went to develop our app version 2. Because it is get real, like how do you get the money to develop it?
Alrighty. Do we have any more questions? We've gotten to our last question. Inquiring minds want to know. And also, of course, you don't have any now, and then later you'll be walking the dog or going to get coffee. You'll be like, ooh, now I have a question.
But if you want to email me, you could just go to our website, AutoCognita, and it's just, Dana.Rozier at AutoCognita.com. So yeah, if you want to ask me any questions, feel free. We're all on, we're just being quiet.
I know.
We're contemplating our next activity of the day.
We do have one question. What is the name of your app?
Click, Learn, Grow. It's not available yet, though. Frank and I are still working on it. We're working with our developers.
Mm-hmm. Well, this will be our last call for questions. So if you do have one, please type it into the chat box before we start our wrap up. Chris has a question. Did you win the prize before development?
No, we waited till we got $100,000. So we had everything ready to go. So as soon as we got the $100,000, we hired the company. We had it all lined up. So it's been wham bam. And actually this is interesting. When we first started, we had some developers on our team. But here's reality. Not everybody can work for free for 3 years. And so the developers just said, we just can't do this anymore. And so Frank and I stuck it out, but then we needed developers, so they weren't on the team, so we had to hire them out. So you guys, if you know developers who want to work for free on your app, they might do it, really, because it's such a great cause.
All righty. And with that, Arthur had a statement. He just said he really appreciates the info.
You're welcome. I think it's exciting because how does an app get built? You guys could do it.
Righty. And so I did make sure to put in the chat window, if you have any questions, email dana.rozier@autocognita.com.
Yes, perfect. Thanks.
So you can always do that. And as a wrap up, I know Dana mentioned the communities competition, but we've launched the communities competition as an impact activity or impact competition to be able to distribute the winning adult literacy app. And so right now, AutoCognita is one of the finalists, but by January 2019, we will have actual winners of the Adult Literacy XPRIZE apps development competition. So there are opportunities for you guys to support the Adult Literacy XPRIZE and distribute the winning adult literacy apps. And so what I'll do is do a quick screen share so that you guys can see a little bit of information about the Adult Literacy XPRIZE Communities Competition. Minimize that. Second. All right. Here we go. Screen share. Share it. Alrighty, so hopefully you guys can see communities.xprize.org. And that is the website you go to learn more information about our communities competition. We've been given an additional $1 million by our awesome sponsors who are the Barbara Bush Foundation and the Dollar General Literacy Foundation to incentivize the community to help us distribute those winning apps. Our registration deadline is December 8th, and there's a proposal phase where teams with the 50 best proposals win $10,000. And then there's a distribution phase where teams can also earn additional funds to go back towards their adult basic education in their area, where there's tiers and you can win either $350,000, $100,000, or $50,000. So please visit communities.xprize.org for more information, or you can email us at adult.literacy@xprize.org. And also, just letting you know, our next Literation Lounge session will be November 6th, 2018 at 12 noon Pacific time. The theme or the topic will be expanding access to education and career growth through workplace education with world education. So please tune in, and I'll make sure that an email goes out with more details about the next couple of sessions and what you can do to win your share of $1 million through the communities competition. And with that, we'll wrap up. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. And thank you so much, Dana, for your time and your expertise in helping people figure out how to build a successful adult literacy app.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Everybody have a great one. Bye-bye.